Hello and welcome to another TFHB Tier Maker special. Today we are going to rank the best club competitions in Europe.
Love it.
Both past and present. So some of the trophies we don't have anymore, some we do, and we're going to see what we think of them. We have 6 tiers today. We have the GOAT tier for what we think is the best trophy in European club competition.
Not just looks either, we're talking...
Not just how it looks now. There's personality too. We have then top tier just below. Then important, which could be historically. Then one that's just good to win. Then down one tier is just one more for the cabinet. Just is alright, check it in there. And finally Mickey Mouse, because that is the age-old expression for the trophy that is usually the worst. So the Mickey Mouse trophy. So let's start off with... it is the Europa League. We can't really see it very clear on this because it's a PNG image, but it is the Europa League to start. A trophy that has changed its name over the years. Originally, we had the Intercity Fairs Cup, which kind of was a different trophy, but it kind of merged into the UEFA Cup, didn't it? Of course, that was a very successful competition. It was like the number 2, wasn't it, behind the European Cup? Up until maybe the 2000s and early 2000s, it was quite a decent tournament with decent teams.
Yeah, quite a proud trophy to win, wasn't it?
If you came, like, for example, I think third for a while and fourth in the Premier League, you'd go to the UEFA Cup. So it had
better teams,
a higher level of teams. It's not bad. It's good to win, I guess, is it? Would you say so?
It is. I think Europa League's had a great couple of runs for some clubs that have gotten it. So Swansea had a run when they...
It's very competitive as well.
Yeah. Fulham, just thinking of British clubs, has done decently. Obviously, Middlesbrough on our shores.
Sevilla, absolutely love it.
It's their cup.
Say 7 they've won now?
Yeah, mad run. And
7 since 2006 as well.
Yeah, Unai Emery is the king of it in recent years too. So yeah, I think it is good to win if you get there. It gives you a berth into the Champions League.
Does now, yeah. Didn't used to.
It is a Thursday night. It was always that Thursday night Channel 5 as it used to be in
Thursday nights Channel 5. Yeah.
And in Britain, mocking it because Channel 5 used to have the rights, which is not a very well regarded TV channel for those outside of the UK.
Because it used to be a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't great
your aerial to get. I'm watching Liverpool play like Rapid Bucharest on like away, and it'd be like a really grainy image. You have to like try and find the right side. Yeah.
So it wasn't always the most highly regarded tournament, but I think it is good if you get there. And the whole point is it's not supposed to be for the top tier clubs. So if Man United are in it, Liverpool are in it, the years they've dropped into it, you don't want to be there. You want to be in the Champions League. But for when Fulham get there, for when even people like Atletico Madrid or Sevilla drop out of the Champions League and go on and win it, it's massive for them. I think it's good to win.
Good. Right. Next one is the Coppa del Rey, Spanish Cup. Now I know
the King's Cup.
It is the King's Cup, and it has changed over years. It changed its name. It was the originally I think it was the Coppa de la Coronación.
Nice.
I think it was set up to mark the coronation of whichever king in 1902 maybe came into to play, and that's all Spanish football was for a long time. Before I think La Liga, I think maybe 1929, maybe around then. I think it was the cup was the trophy, and I think it had a big importance back then. Then I think these days I think it's that revered anymore.
No,
I think it is kind of like you want to, if you're the big Spanish clubs, you want to win the Spanish League or the Champions League.
Yeah.
The Spanish Cup's like, and that one. I think for the smaller clubs, I know Bilbao winning it last season was massive for them.
Yeah.
I think it has a certain...
it's two-legged all the way through as well, isn't it? Obviously the final's not, it used to be, but two-legged all the way through, which lends not always to knockouts of bigger clubs, I suppose, because over 2 legs the bigger clubs should win. We haven't seen
an El Clasico final for a while, have we?
No, and you get that interestingly that one of the sides will go out, Real Madrid or Barcelona, or they'll play each other like in the semi-finals because it's obviously based on the draw. It's not seeded.
It was also called a Coppa del Generalissimo as well, and DeFranco. As a way of him imposing his fascist sort of ideology on the masses by changing even things like the football trophy name, even though I think there was a king still wasn't there as well at the same time. So I think we put it in. I think it's good to win.
Is it important? I mean, we can talk about the importance of the development of Spanish football.
Let's say it's important because it has the the name changes tells you a lot about the history of Spain as well, and the Spanish Civil War and so on, and has importance there because there's very distinct identities in Spain. I think the Coppa del Rey brings them out. Right, okay, Coupe de France.
Well, what I like about it is how it is a total open cup, and so every French territory have a right to enter it as well, and so you will get tiny French islands 10,000 miles away.
A tiny team last year got to the final.
There was someone small, decent run. You can get team 10,000 miles away in the Caribbean playing against big sides, and they have to travel. There's no arguments about it if it's drawn. So if you have to go to small islands, I can only think of one off Death in Paradise. There's not even a real island, but a small French island in the Caribbean. That's the draw. That's the way it goes. You hop on a boat or a plane and off you go. So like and that's quite cool about it.
Right. Do you want to hear some facts about it?
Go on.
It was made in 1917, so during the First World War, which is interesting, considering it was all going on in France, wasn't it? That's very interesting, actually.
What are you doing?
Yeah, just have a kick around. Yeah, it's okay, isn't it? PSG are most successful, 15 teams. One more. Good to one more for the cabinet.
One more in the cabinet.
Okay, next one is a now defunct trophy, and that is the Cup Winners Cup.
Nice.
Which I think has I think it's a bit of a cult status now.
Yes.
It's been like,
yes.
It was a cool trophy. You won your domestic cup.
Yeah.
You didn't go to the Europa League like you do now. You went into the Cup Winners Cup. And I think some teams are really successful at this. So Barcelona won a few times. Chelsea won quite a few, even though when they weren't that great. I think it's quite a nice idea, a Cup Winners Cup.
Yeah, lovely. And I think let's bring it back. You see that lots, don't you? Bring it back. People don't necessarily understand it, don't remember what it was for, what the point of it was.
Yeah.
It was if you won the FA Cup, if you won the Coupe de France, if you won the Coppa del Rey, you would go into the Cup Winners Cup. It's as it says on the tin, a cup for people who've won cups the previous season. But it was a brilliant way to get different sides entering. So for particularly Welsh clubs, things like Cardiff City and Swansea, if you won the Welsh Cup,
you'd qualify for the Cup Winners Cup.
Yeah, is being talked about again as a possibility.
Cardiff City beat Real Madrid in 1971 because, Wrexham beat Porto. Newport County got to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
In the 80s. I think Merthyr Tydfil beat some European big teams.
We're not talking it up there necessarily, but yeah.
But it
was amazing. Amazing chance for clubs.
Founded in 1960, rebranded in 1994, but was abolished in 1999.
Gutted. It's hard. It's definitely not Mickey Mouse. I think it was good to win if you were there. Was it good to win? Did it earn you anything, or was it just one more trip?
I think it was good to win.
Okay, fine.
I think it's
It wasn't. It's not got a legacy, so it's not important.
Next one is a bit of a biased one for us. It's on its side for some reason in the picture, but it is the Welsh Cup.
Good looking
just mentioned.
Cup. Good looking cup.
It's a good looking cup. I think it's got like a goat or something on it. It was a dragon. Is it? Yeah. Dragon. The Welsh League's got the big dragon handles, isn't it? It's an old one, isn't it, Welsh Cup? It's one of the oldest trophies in football history, I imagine. As FAW is one of the oldest, or the third oldest football association in the world. The Welsh Cup, I'll tell you now, is... the Welsh Cup is first founded in 1877.
Wow.
Almost as old as football itself.
That is old.
Which has a bit of importance, I imagine, in the development of football in Wales, but it hasn't done much for the world. I would say... Is it Mickey Mouse? It is Mickey Mouse. Compared to these, it has to be. Sorry.
And we are Welsh. We are proud Welshmen, but it's compared...
Cwpan Cymru.
And if you look at what they're trying to do with the Welsh League Cup, which is not even this cup, the Welsh League Cup, where they're talking about the 12 Cymru Premier teams, the Welsh First Division, and the 4 English-based Welsh teams, Cardiff, Swansea, Newport, Wrexham.
They want to qualify for the Europe, don't they?
Yeah, they want to play in the Welsh League Cup and they will enter into Europe through that. Basically like a backdoor Cup Winners' Cup route into the
Conference League.
Which is a little bit Mickey Mouse. I'm all for it because I'd love to run in Europe.
That'd be great. Down the road.
It's a little bit Mickey Mouse,
it
fine.
Is. Okay, right. DFB-Pokal, or Pokal now, the German Cup.
Cool trophy.
Very cool trophy. Had some good finals over the years. I remember when Klopp's Dortmund beat Bayern. It was obviously it's for that amazing stadium in Berlin where the finals are.
Yeah.
One of the best stadiums in the world. Historically, so good.
Love it.
I think it's a good to win trophy as well. I don't think we can put it as a top tier, can we really?
Yeah, I think you've got to put it alongside.
Yeah.
I think I'd rank it higher than the Coupe de France.
It's better than the Coupe de France.
Yeah.
It's definitely better.
Fine, good to win.
So a little couple of facts. 1935 founded by Leverkusen current champions.
It's a question of
Bayern
timing.
Munich, obviously the most winners.
Founded by who? In 1935.
Oh yeah, interesting that, yeah. Interesting.
Well, yeah.
German football was very small, though, wasn't it, back then? It wasn't that big. Good to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. EFL Trophy now. Probably the trophy that's had the most name changes in football history.
We were trying to think of the name.
We would say the LDV Vans Trophy.
Yeah, Johnson's Pate.
That's what we grew up with.
Yeah. Vanarama.
One of my first ever games I went to watch was Cardiff City, and it was the LDV Vans Trophy against Peterborough at Union Park, and they lost 3-1.
Yeah. It's quality. Now, actually, they've revamped it a little bit where the 21 teams join. I don't know how clubs down lower in the pyramid feel, but I went to watch Plymouth versus Chelsea under 21.
It's got a Wembley final.
Yeah, it's class. They won 5-0. There was Billy Gilmore was playing people like that back when they were in the 21s. Class.
Go.
It's Mickey Mouse. It's Mickey Mouse. But it's not if you're down in League 1 or 2. We're comparing it to some massive
Yeah, it's
trophies.
a bit of fun, isn't it?
It's a bit of fun.
It's called a Virtu Trophy now as well.
Yeah.
Don't know what Virtu is. If you want to sponsor us, though, Virtu,
We'll take it.
let us know. Right. Now, the Emirates FA Cup, the oldest club competition.
Don't like it with a name sponsor.
Still in use. I know, that is a shame. Still played today. 1871 it began. 1872 the first final. Wanderers, of course, the amateur teams winning it. This was there before the Football League. It was there before league football. It was the cup competition, knockout football. From that idea of competitive football that was introduced with the FA Cup, football was able to grow, and it captured the hearts and minds of people. Oh, I want to win that trophy. I want to go and watch that game, and it grew, didn't it, from there. It's still played today.
Yeah.
It definitely has seen its importance drop in recent years. I think maybe because I'm a bigger club fan, Liverpool. Maybe that's what I say. But you don't. It doesn't have the same appeal as it had when I was a kid.
But wrongly, I mean, it's because it's being pushed out, isn't it? I think it's a worthwhile conversation, really, how it's being treated in terms of it used to be the final game of the season. It should still be the final game of the season. That focus was on it. You would finish the Premier League, you'd finish the Championship, whatever, and the focus would turn to the FA Cup, and it'd be 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and it'd be everyone watching, and it'd be the focus of the whole weekend, and there'd be lovely montages, and they'd be talking about old finals, and Cardiff City would talk about winning in 1927 and all that, and there'd be replays. And I think that what has really hurt it this season already in the third round is the fact that replays have been taken away. You look at
Tamworth.
Tamworth were robbed. Tamworth held Tottenham Hotspur to a draw.
Or did they hold them to a draw because they thought, well, we're going to have to try and if we're going to get through, we're going to have to play even better than normal.
But what it would have allowed them, had they drawn that, is a massive money spin. People are like, it gave them more chance because they had extra. No, it doesn't really.
Imagine
going win it.
Imagine going to
Tottenham spin it to the Tottenham Stadium, the most beautiful stadium in the country. But the money you would make, because that would be a TV game. That would be, at least probably £1.5–2 million for Tamworth. That would keep that club afloat for
years.
5 years. It is huge, and I think that's robbed it. And the calendar's being squeezed. We know that the football calendar's being squeezed. We're getting things like, and we haven't included it because it's not there yet, but a new freaking tournament in the summer that hasn't even got.
That is a geocut tournament.
Yeah, I mean that should be there, and that's flipping Mickey Mouse. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end, but. The football calendar's being squeezed, and that is where the FA Cup perhaps is losing that importance there in that way, because there's been times where sides have fielded incredibly weakened teams because they just haven't got the fixture capacity and the squad capacity to play the right players.
I think it's top tier.
It
has to be, because football, and it's definitely important. Football wouldn't be the game it is now without the FA Cup. Simple as, and I think even fans in Europe and further abroad. Know about it.
Yeah. Look how old it is. Look how old
the little lid on it, and you drop the lid when you lift the trophy.
Compared to
Wembley
some of those
steps,
others,
the iconic nature. Maybe we're talking from a British point of view, but it is so important. Right, next up then, another very old trophy, the Scottish Cup, which I think is only slightly younger than the FA Cup. Unfortunately, with the Scottish Cup, you can guarantee the top 2 teams by far and away the most trophies are going to be Celtic and Rangers. let's have a look. Scottish Cup, they got a few cups. 1873 founded, so only 2 years after the FA Cup. So, massive. Scotland, very important with the growth of football and the style of football that developed from them, the combination game, the passing. Celtic won 42, and Rangers have won. How many do you reckon they've won? 42 Celtic, 34 for Rangers. The next one then is Queen's Park, who were up until very recently but still an amateur club. They've won 10, but their last win was in 1893.
Wow.
So that shows the difference. Then Hearts 8, Aberdeen 7, and then they go down to 3. So it's a very important trophy, I think, for his football history.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not competitive. So
no.
I'm a bit lost here. Do we put it important? But I think we do. I think we do. I think it goes down to one more for the cabinet. Just one more for Celtic and Rangers to add each.
Yeah. It's not for Aberdeen. It's not for other clubs in Scotland, but they're so rarely won by other clubs. So for Celtic and Rangers, it's just another number onto their many, many trophies they've already got.
Yeah, I wonder when the last time anyone different won it. I bet it wasn't very long ago. St Johnstone won it in 2021. Who knew that? Right. The KNVB Cup, the Dutch Cup, kind of Coupe de France level, is it? Or a bit lower?
yeah, Coupe de France level.
I mean, I'd love to go to a game, so if you guys want to send us there.
Yeah, we've written about a lot of like people like Cruyff, who've won it many a time, Seedorf. It's another trophy in their cabinet.
You're just going to play Dutch football name bingo now.
Yeah, but they're proud of it. I'm sure they're proud of it, and they deserve it, and well done to them.
One more for the cabinet. One more for Ajax, PSV or Feyenoord to add to the cabinet. Right, Coppa Italia. Again, I think recently, last 15 years, Italian football has kind of died a bit, hasn't it? It's not been great. I mean, recently it's had a bit more of a rival, I guess, with Inter and Napoli winning the league. That was quite a big deal, wasn't it, a couple of years ago? It's just a bit. It used to be, when we were kids, the best league. Serie A was unreal, wasn't it? Early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, but everyone remembers Italian football so well, isn't it? Yeah.
Was amazing. You had all the best players in the world played in Serie A. They don't now. It's like, AC Milan, look at sign Kyle Walker, who's now past it, or Premier League rejects. That's kind of what it is. Darmian and stuff starting games. Alexis Sanchez was still starting his Inter a couple of years ago. Tammy Abraham, Loftus Cheek. It is, isn't it? It's Premier League reject league now.
Ooh, yeah,
it is though, isn't it? Right now, and Serie A's got some amazing clubs and some clubs that are
incredibly important.
Kind of important. You got Juventus top on there. Huge. AC Milan, Inter, even teams like Genoa historically have been so important.
Yeah.
With the growth of football in that region.
Yeah.
But the Coppa Italia, I don't. Does it excite you?
No.
I would Coppa del Rey. I go, interesting. I might watch a bit of that. Okay. Maybe for the El Clasico. Maybe that's the media.
Yeah.
Sort of pumping it into us. Is that Barca, Real Madrid, El Clasico?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll watch that. Atletico Madrid. Oh yeah, Simeone. And the Coppa Italia, I think, is fallen off a bit.
I think it's still good to win though. I think it's above one more trophy.
It is good to win. It's definitely alongside the German Cup. Maybe even
Spanish.
Up there historically. Maybe it is quite important. But maybe just below. Yeah? Okay. It might have been higher a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think the league was a higher standard. It's very competitive still, the league. But
if you didn't have a problem with all the Italian nation either.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Next up is the Mitropa Cup. What's that? Right. That is a trophy that was founded, I think, in 1927, pioneered by Hugo Meisel, one of the biggest innovators of football in Central Europe. It was kind of like a pre-European cup, wasn't it? But it was for Central Europe.
Yeah, it was, hey, you're playing football, we're playing football, do you want a game? Let's make a cup of it. You're a different country. Whoa, hang on a second. Can a Hungarian team play an Austrian team? Yeah, you can. Why it's so important, I think, because obviously it doesn't exist anymore. It existed for quite a while. You can have a look at the numbers. It kept going and going.
I think it's the 50s.
Yeah.
Until European Cup.
So it did knock around, and obviously there's wins for people like Honved and Ferencvaros and others in Hungary and those
Italian teams as well, isn't it? Italy, Hungary.
It's quite
Austria.
interesting to look at it. Czechoslovakia as it was back then, but what it was important for was because it allowed other nations and eventually the European Cup to see how it works.
Here's something for you. It was only abolished in 1992.
I thought, yeah.
But I think it was a lot smaller back then. So, 1927 it was founded.
I think it was just 14.
And it was for Italy,
Yeah.
Switzerland, Austria. I think it grew. Yugoslavia, Romania, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, and it grew. I think it was 4 originally, maybe, and then it was 8, and then maybe 16. But it's really interesting. You look at some of those teams; they're historic names.
Well,
in football.
big players like Giuseppe Meazza scored loads. Georgi Sarosi, he was the captain of Hungary team in '38. Sindelar, big players in that region playing in that trophy.
We'll come on to the European Cup, but there's 2 things that led to the birth of it. One of them was the Mitropa Cup, and the other was the floodlit friendlies that we've talked about. We'll probably mention briefly there.
Important,
definitely.
It's very important to football history.
Definitely
important. Right. Carabao Cup, the League Cup, another name changer. Milk Cup, Coca-Cola Cup,
the Carling Cup,
Worthington's Cup, Capital One Cup.
Yes, yeah.
Carling Cup. I still call it the Carling Cup.
Or the League Cup. Let's call it the League Cup.
The League Cup, right.
Football League Cup.
This trophy, obviously, it's different to the FA Cup because it's played midweek, all the games. It's always quite good to watch under the lights, nighttime games. Historically, and still now a bit, it was always a chance for teams to play their kids or their reserves in the top teams. I remember it was Arsene Wenger used to always play his Arsenal kids, didn't he? I'm just thinking of Jeremy Aliadier coming to my mind. But they used to play a lot of the games, and it was kind of cast off like, this is a stupid trophy. The big teams aren't taking it seriously.
I think it is until you get deeper into the tournament.
Yeah, and back then it used to have teams like Blackburn might win it, or Leicester won it a few times, or Middlesbrough. It was quite decent. Birmingham won it. Yeah. Swansea won it in 2013. Cardiff City against the final in 2012. But Bradford got to the final, didn't it, actually, that year?
Yeah.
2013. I think recently there has become, I think teams want to win it again.
Yeah, although it's been
Man City,
squeezed out,
Liverpool,
isn't it? I think
City, Liverpool.
It's under threat. I think it's under threat with the calendar being squeezed.
I think it'll be gone in 10 years' time.
Yeah, it has its own place because it's played from August, and so it's like a pre-FA Cup build-up, really, and then it comes to a head in February rather than April and May like the rest of the Cups normally do. However, as calendar squeezes,
I quite like it.
I like it. I don't
think
hate it.
The matches are more competitive. I quite like it under the
two-leg
lights.
semi-final, interesting.
I quite like I just think it's a decent trophy.
The further you go, I think people care. Obviously, as soon as you sort of hit the.
But is it a big deal for the rest of Europe? I'm going to say no. I think it's one more for the cabinet.
I'd potentially Mickey Mouse when you compare it to the rest of them. They've always said that.
I think it's better.
I like it. I like
Scottish
it. Okay.
I'm putting it there. Look, you see Celtic and Rangers. Well, then again, Man City were 4 on the road, didn't they? Yeah. Right. Okay. Taça de Portugal now.
Okay.
Don't know much about this one. Obviously, it's Portuguese. And I could have bet Benfica, Porto, and Sporting
have all won 50
have won
each.
Quite a lot. So let's have a look at Taça de Portugal. When was it formed?
I think my initial instinct there is one more for the cabinet because we've written a lot. We've written 2 books. Check them out here. Available on Amazon and all other good book places. And we've written about Portuguese sides and Benfica and Porto and great players, and they've all won lots of Taça de Portugals. Is there anything mind-blowing that's happened in the Taça de Portugal? Educate us in the comments.
I don't know enough about it.
Ruben Amorim won one with Sporting.
26 wins for Benfica. So 1938, I think it was formed. 20 for Porto. 17 for Sporting.
And then what's the next?
Boa Vista with 5. So again, it's a bit Scottish Cup vibes, isn't it, there, really? But there's one extra team. One more for the cabinet?
Yeah.
I'm sure for those clubs, they like it a bit. Right, I think this is the king of the Mickey Mouse Cups. It's the Intertoto Cup. This was played very start of the season, and I'm pretty sure there was like 4 finals or something, more than that, 5, 6 finals. It wasn't one final. And there was multiple winners of it. and then if you won it, you qualified for the Europa League or the UEFA Cup back then.
Okay.
It was like a
pre-season
pre-tournament,
friendly.
almost like a pre-season tournament.
Like they do now. I
Played
suppose.
more like I think in August, maybe a bit of September.
I remember Newcastle winning it. People like that.
Yeah, but they were like one of the winners. You can see that the logo there has like 1, 2 times 2, 2, and it's a bit confusing. I think it's the king of the Mickey Mouse Cups because it wasn't really a trophy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, they got rid of it in maybe 2005. I'm going to say.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I think it is. It's Mickey Mouse, isn't it? It was effectively what they do now. Okay. What they do now with the pre-season tournaments, the Champions Trophy, whatever they call it, where they play it in abroad. Fine as well, by the way. That's fair enough. They do that as a way of exporting the league abroad. It's just a bit of that, I think.
Right, winners. So let's have a look. So the last year, then you would have 3. You'd have. There we go. Right, you'd have joint winners. You would have something like 1, 2, right. So 11 teams won it. Right, but then there was one outright winner of it all. So I don't know how that was determined, but Newcastle were the outright winners in 2006, alongside 10 other joint winners.
Right, Mickey Mouse.
Which kind of
undermines
defeats the whole object of it, doesn't it? The Mickey Mouse.
Sounds like school sports day.
Okay, Champions League. Well,
/ European Cup.
/ European Cup. I mean, it's obviously going to the GOAT. It is the best club competition in the world by a mile.
Remember, we're only talking about Europe here as well.
Yeah,
it's worth remembering.
And but even as a world, it's the best. Isn't
well,
it?
the Libertadores would push it, but for us,
10 countries.
Yeah.
Right, the Champions League. So history of it. 55 formed. 56 the first winner, of course, Real Madrid, and they of course had an amazing run. It was 15 wins they've had now, stupidly good. But I just think the level of the football that gets played, the stories that have come from it over the years. Just think of the 1960 with the 7-3 final, incredible with the Puskas and Di Stefano, in the 127,000 at Hampden Park. You got the Eusebio and the Bella Gutmann stuff. Then straight after, then you got the Inter winning the Catenaccio style, and these styles of football and tactical revolutions, and you got the Lisbon Lions, then Man United 10 years after the Munich disaster winning it, and then you got the Ajax dominance, and then the Bayern dominance, and then the Liverpool dominance, and then the Villa wins, and the Forest, amazing, and then you got the English band, and then these other teams win it, Stour, PSV, Porto, and so on. Then you got Sachi, and then you got the Cruyff's dream team for Barcelona. Then you got the Champions League forming and this new rebranding. Then you got Ajax winning it, and then Juventus, and Real Madrid winning it again, and then Bayern, and then Porto with Jose Mourinho winning it, and then Liverpool with the miracle of Istanbul.
Yeah.
Barcelona, Man United and Chelsea and Pep Guardiola, and then the real recent stuff as well. But it's
Bale's
amazing.
overhead kick.
Bale's overhead kick,
and then the perfect format that they've now got this season.
And the Giant League now, which we're all loving. I think it's just a great trophy, isn't it?
There's the Champions League history in sort of a minute for you there. But, can you tell we've been writing about football history for sort of 12 or so years now? Yeah. It is so important for football history. It is not just for European football history, but for world football history. It is whatever country you come from. Because think of the players that come to Europe wanting to apply their trade here. To win the Champions League is an absolute highlight of anyone's career.
It's a great name as well, isn't it?
Yeah. If we think about how it started with the Mitropa Cup vibes, they go, let's have a European competition, install floodlights, they win a load of games and go, well, we must be the champions of Europe because we've beaten all these European visiting teams that come and play us under the floodlights.
Yeah, it was Honved, wasn't it?
Yeah. L'Equipe go, no, we need an actual tournament. The French newspaper, they make a tournament, and then all of a sudden we get this brilliant tournament that was just the winners of the league. So it would be, if you won your league that year, you would go into the Champions League.
Not too long ago as well.
Not too long ago. Then, obviously now, British teams or English teams, the Premier League this year will have 5 places, which is some will call crazy. It's really interesting though. It's a great tournament. You can think of great games. We can reel off so many from our memory and football memory. It's not just for you, Liverpool, I suppose, although there are some great Liverpool moments in your watching life of it.
Well, Liverpool's, I think their club's identity is really built on the European Cup more than domestic stuff. They are like a Anfield European nights, isn't it?
Yeah. but we can think of other great games. You know, La Remontada. You can think of
6-1. Yeah,
the final, Man United Barcelona final that was just like the height of Barcelona being amazing and everything like that. So it is such a good tournament. I don't think, as we're mid this tournament, I don't think they've ruined it. I quite like the new format as it stands.
I think it needed a bit of a change because it was getting a bit boring.
Yeah.
Okay, for last one then, Conference League, probably the most recent addition to the trophies of Europe. Pretty competitive, and I think it's been quite successful so far.
Yeah.
This year, though, this is so the new league format of the Champions League has worked. I think it's worked in Europa League as well. I feel like, Chelsea are just going to walk this trophy, aren't they?
And they should. And that's where it's perhaps imbalanced. I wonder whether Premier League shouldn't have an entry in it, or certain countries and leagues maybe shouldn't have an entry in it.
Then you got West Ham when they won. It was such a big moment for that club, wasn't it?
And it's because Chelsea had a poor season, isn't it? And they ended up 7th. Chelsea ordinarily are not going to finish 7th, I suppose. Although they may again this season, but probably not. But whoever finishes there, whether it's United, if they pull off a really late season, I don't think they will. But whoever it may be, they should dominate because of the value and the wealth of the Premier League teams, which is a shame for some of those smaller clubs, because for us from Wales, seeing TNS make it for the first time,
and when they won, that's like that go down as the big moment in their club history, probably.
massive
beating Astana.
Yeah.
Right, where are we going to go?
I think it's good to win for those smaller clubs, for the clubs.
Oh my gosh, it's good to win. Yeah, good to
move
win.
Move it up.
Good to win. Yeah. Do you think up there as good as Europa League?
No.
No, it's one more for the cabinet.
No, I think it's not one more for the cabinet. Yeah, I think it is good to win if you're a small club. West Ham, good to win. I know a West Ham fan who still wears his final. We went to the final sort of top very regularly. They still live off that, and they will for many years.
Fair play. Right, that is our final, I think, tier list. We got the best trophy in Europe is Champions League. Surprise, surprise. Then the FA Cup just behind. Coppa del Rey, Mitropa Cup important, and then we got quite a few in the good to win. Then we got a few judges, so one with cabinet, and then we got 3 Mickey Mouse trophies, with Intertoto Cup being the worst. Happy with that?
Yeah, some controversial ones there.
Yeah, really controversial. And
listen, it's a British lens. We looked at this.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
So let us know. Let us know that in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
We are Welsh as well. Before people shout at us for the Welsh Cup.
Yeah, we are Welsh, but compared to the rest. Right. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching. We are Welsh. I'm wearing a Welsh top. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. We are so close to 3,000 subscribers. We'd love to get there. Gareth's doing the Ayatollah. And we'll see you again for another one very soon.